Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Lisa from Adventures in Agriculture. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. It is Friday, the 19th of May in 2023. I always like to say the date because we always know that there's order to certain things in life, and it's good to know where we're hearing these things and at what time space that we are in. So today I am joined by two amazing Andreas who are coming to me from a company called ElectroCultura and their academy, and I will let them introduce the full name to you. I'm really excited to have them both on here because this is the beginning of a series of videos that's going to be a living example of a pilot program that we're doing on the property that I've acquired in Arnesano in the region of Puglia in Italy. And there is a piece of land that is on 11 hectares, but we're going to be renewing and restoring this land and bringing it back to its agricultural roots by using these techniques. And one say it could be just electroculture and permaculture, but I think Andrea will talk to us a little bit more about how it's much broader than that. So these series of videos is going to be the start. And what we're going to do here is introduce both Andreas into so you can understand what they're doing and how they started out in this type of experimentation and approach to agriculture. I want Andrea and his team to talk about how they came to their approach to electroculture, permaculture, and he says the energy and frequency of agriculture, which to me is very intriguing because everything that I'm looking at right now is energy and a frequency on that. So this is a living series. We're going to be doing a number of different videos on it. So we'll look for feedback and explanation. And hopefully at a time, you'll see us at the site, you'll see us doing these videos, and we'll have a lot of interaction on this, but we're really excited to have you. So today I'm going to have Andrea Donnoli and Andrea Ribichini to introduce themselves and welcome to the channel. So Andrea and Andrea, welcome to Adventures in Agriculture. How are you both this evening?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Nice
Lisa.
to meet you.
Very good to have you. Yeah, so why don't we start out by you giving a little bit of background about what you're doing and how you ended up going into this type of agricultural approach? Because Andrea, you at first, you didn't start in agriculture, did you?
No, absolutely. I mean, in reality, I start with my grandfather in agriculture when I was a child. And probably that was the right imprinting, let's say, for me, where I passed a lot of summer in the farm with the animals, with the fruit trees, and special plants like horticulture as well.
Yeah.
And then I studied robotics, and I was involved in mechanics, robotics, and information technology. And I got a degrees in economics and a master in sales and marketing in the London Business School of Economics.
So you've covered all the different disciplines of business and engineering, which is very exciting for that.
But I was always attracted by the nature, especially by the elements of the nature, like the water. And I did caves expedition. I did climbing. I teach the climbing, free climbing for many years during the university.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when I started to work, I was working around the world, initially for a manufacturing company in the automotive sector. And then I worked for 20 years in the information technology for very big players like American multinational company. But I always had my heart in the in the ecological way. So I try to we made some projects to help the green, to increase the reforestation in some area, and showing also the green side of these companies. But in reality, 11 years ago, I started my own food production, and that was the key of the changement.
Yeah, so that's interesting. The information technology probably has a lot of relevance because you're collecting data on everything and the assessment of it. But it's fascinating how you've kind of covered a wide variety of disciplines, and I'm sure they all are relevant to what you're doing right now as well. All of these things help us become who we are. So maybe like tell us a little bit about what your approach was. So you went from sort of an engineering and an information and sales and marketing. So you covered the disciplines of business and engineering. How did you then end up in this agricultural setting and come up with your thesis of permaculture and agriculture, electroculture?
I decided to produce my food. That's the first reason. I wanted to be sure that the food was mine, with ancient seeds, with ancient fruit trees. And so I started my own food production for the family. And during the journey, I decided to study permaculture, because it's a great instrument for projects. So you can plan all your projects on paper, you can study, observe all the environment. And immediately I encountered the electroculture. So all my food forest was planned and was designed in electro permaculture. And with this word, myself and Andrea decided to create more and more detail on this design approach that we can explain today.
That's wonderful. So you're approaching it by providing a systematic approach, which is something that is not often done in the agricultural field. And then you said permaculture to electroculture. So you were introduced to electroculture. How did you find that at first? And did you believe in the concepts of that initially? Because there's always a little bit of reticence about this concept of electroculture that has been around for a long time.
It's my approach. I'm always curious. So I study a lot, but I want to do practical experience. So I learned doing practical exercise experiments. And my first experiment was the tentative to save a maple tree that was sick, very sick, with mushroom and a lot of problem in the trunk. And I decided to try Alakoski coil on the tree. And that was November 2012.
Wow. Okay.
In the spring time, let's say between March and April, the plant start growing a lot with new sprout, new leaves and flowers. And so I was really surprised, because I was just putting the coil and I forgot the plant. But then when I saw the response of the plant, I decided to buy all the book of Lakowski. So I purchased 32 books.
Wow, I didn't know he wrote that many.
And I read all the books, and I started new experiments with horticultural plants, medicinal plants, planting my new fruit trees, etc., etc. And then the history can go on with the antenna and the other device.
Yeah.
So I try more than 10,000 plants in my garden, new plants, including fruit trees and horticultural plants and medicinal plants, ancient flowers. And everything was made combining electroculture with permaculture. And every time we discover new things, every time we shared new things. The journey was very, very funny.
And it sounds
Andrea,
like you documented it as well.
yeah, everything was documented.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I had all the control also to have the comparison. At the beginning, I mean, for the first 8 years, more or less, comparison. But then, because my objective was to produce food, the majority of the food with high quality, without any special treatment, no chemical, nothing at all. And so I decided to apply electroculture everywhere because the results were so amazing and so evident that I can show you. I had asparagus of 3 meters, beets coming out of the greenhouse of 3 meters. I did 2 harvests of potatoes in the mountain, because I'm in the mountain at 1,000 meters, and I did even 3 harvests of potatoes in one season at 1,000 meters. So every time we
that's amazing. That's absolutely wonderful. I'm gonna call them vegetables of unusual size, or maybe they were the original size before we came back to the unusual size, which is the current size that we're dealing with right now.
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm curious because as I said to you in our discussions, I came from a healthcare background where I was investing in innovation in healthcare, and I focused in on non-systemic things, and I was doing some work in electroceuticals. So electroculture is a sort of to me, was the sort of the corollary in the plant world, because all organic living beings have the same sort of foundational elements of it. And we were doing this work with electroceuticals where there was a whole foundational piece of work on that. And a lot of the research was found in Russia, in these libraries that had not been destroyed, and a lot of different things. So we worked on something where it was electrostimulation to your vagus nerve that had this incredibly positive result for many types of things. And it was FDA and EMA approved for cluster headache and migraine headache. So instead of taking these triptans, which are highly toxic chemicals in your body, we would do intermittent stimulation to your vagus nerve. And so to me, that was just like a corollary going into agriculture. Because we're all electrical, we're all this, electrical beings. So I was very excited to hear of electroculture. So, and also curious where the research was to give you the foundation of understanding what you were doing in the plant world.
Yeah, I can tell you the story is very long. We need
okay.
multiple meeting. Yeah,
we can do that another time, but I find it fascinating here.
If you can give me the possibility to share the screen, I can start.
Yep, you're able to do it. You're able to do it. So yeah, I would love to hear, so your background and give us a little bit more detail. Thank you. Go ahead. You have the ability.
Or no, still
no. Hold on 1 second here.
Share
screen. You were okay. It said that you were able to. Multiple participants can describe.
All right, now it's okay. Yeah, so I try to summarize a little bit the story.
Terrific.
And we introduce ourselves, and we talk about electro-permaculture, and we talk about what we do today in the Academy for Energetic and Vibrational Agriculture. This is our nomination, let's say, because we touch multiple topics, not only electroculture. Electroculture is very important, but like we will see tonight, we use a lot permaculture experience, design, observation, and with Andrea we can comment. So it's a combination of multiple disciplines, including geobiology, including also the sensibility of the people. That's why we speak about also sensitive permaculture, and we work a lot with Alana Moore and people that are very sensible on this topic. And over this, we can have even multiple discussions. So I started in 2012, and for the first 6 years, I was really focused to combine permaculture and electroculture. So I did 6,000 experiments, more or less, for every plant I introduced in my garden. That was a green field. At the beginning, it was a green field. And now there are more than 12,000 plants.
Can you just do a quick little definition of permaculture? Because people are aware of electroculture, but permaculture maybe is slightly.
Yeah, absolutely. The permaculture is a design system. Let's say it's a tactics to have the best design of your property. And this is responding to 12, let's say, we will see in detail later on.
Okay.
There are 12 principles, and 3 ethics. But in short term, permaculture is the way we can make a project for permanent agriculture. Let's say we want to have a system that can grant abundance in food production, in everything we need to live. That's
okay, great.
So I was really fascinated by this idea, and also to cultivate more and more plants all together with guilds, with combination, and with a lot of production, because you have on one tree even climber plants. So you use also vertical area, not only on the ground, horizontal. But I will show you some examples.
Terrific.
And then I was making my experiment for my own food production. But a lot of people visiting me were so curious, and they asked me, Andrea, oh, is it possible to cultivate pomegranate in the mountain, or asparagus or peaches? Well, you can do 3 harvests of potato per year. And I was explaining that everything was made by the energy, essentially. That's the energy, the frequency, and all the interaction we can have with the plants.
Yeah.
So they called me, and I start to teach during the permaculture PDC. It's a permaculture design course. And I was teaching in Italy, and I was teaching online. And I wrote my first ebook that is called My Garden in Electroculture. And this was shared for free for many, many years. Even today is available in the website. Andrea Ribichini contact me. And we start sharing idea how we can, let's say, describe the permaculture and the electroculture together. And we started also the education, and we did the first workshop together in, it was 2019, so 4 years ago, 2019.
Okay. Terrific. Yeah.
And then articles were showing more detail, because no one at the beginning was aware of the electroculture and the permaculture together, etc. So we wrote this article, and we described the principle of the electropermaculture. So this principle are coming from the permaculture. So the first one is observe and interact. So it's important to observe and to have a look at your place, understand the energy of your place, the wind, the water, if you don't have water, when the wind are changing, what is the typical plant of your area. So observation, it's very important.
Yeah, yeah.
The second principle is to capture and store the energy when you need it. So like we have, for instance, a solar panel in the roof. Now, today is normal. And we can use our dishwasher or clothes machine when we have the energy, okay? Otherwise, we pay the bill. And this is the same for agriculture. You need to make your harvest when it's the right moment, when it's sunny, and you need to plan maybe to relax in the winter. You can do other things, but according to the moment, to the season, to the weather, etc. So it's very important to use the energy, and we can use the magnetic energy and the electrical energy for stimulation of the plants. And the objective is to get a production. So the third principle is that we want to work to have a production of good food. So you don't work for an empty stomach. These are sentences that are explaining the principle. So we can produce more with electroculture, and vibrational agriculture, energetic agriculture can help a lot. And the food will be more energetic with more nutrient factor. So you will use less food. That's another interesting thing.
That's very interesting. I haven't heard that before.
When you eat a superfood, you eat less. Imagine, like, I give you some examples so you can understand. Imagine you are thirsty in the summer, and you are in the mountain with a beautiful stream water running from the stones. So you take a glass, you drink one glass, and you are okay. If you do the same with a plastic water from the supermarket, even one big bottle will not give you the same.
No, that's really important. So, you know, when you say a superfood, people always thought, well, it's a particular species of fruit that has high ingredients. But I think what you're describing is that the energy of our food is really what gives us the energy. And if we're not having that incredible energy from our food, it's nutritionally void for us. That's a very good point.
Absolutely. And then for every plant, we can increase the antioxidant, the vitamin, the minerals, etc., and all the property connected to the plant. If it is a medicinal plant, we can elevate. This is olive oil. We can increase polyphenolic by 30%, even more.
Right. Fantastic.
And this is the effect of the energy and the right interaction with the plant.
Terrific. I love it. I just think that's a really, really important point that you're making, that not many people have heard before. So coming back to the water, if we use the right water, we use less water, even by half. We can reduce by half the water usage because we have the information inside the water. We have the frequency that are useful for the plant living or for the living soil elements, for instance. So there is another. I can't wait to explore that further with you, because I think that's a critical concept.
And this is working for plants, this is working for animals, and for human as well. It's the same. We are working the same. And then there's a fourth principle that we apply the self-regulation and we accept the feedback. So it's very important to always observe and have a feedback to improve. That's very important. So we did a lot of experiment, until today we continue our research, and that's very important that we want to have feedback and to improve it and to share it. So there are description of this in the article that we can show we can share, no problem. This is a free article. The fifth is discussing about the usage and giving value to renewable resources and service. Let the nature take its course. So it's important to try to let circulate everything. Let's say I have some animals, I can create my compost that will be useful for my vegetable cultivation. That's an example. Or I can use the gray water, like in my case, in my property, I use the gray water to water a part of the food forest. I don't want to trash away the gray water. We can use it for, we have a filter, we have the microorganisms, we can do also filtering with the plants, and then the water can be reused again and again and again. And so we try to keep everything in the circle. So do not produce waste, and that's very important. Again, try to reduce all the waste, including the packaging, including everything we even buy, etc. We have a compost area. We burn in the fireworks all the paper. So we really reduce a lot the waste. The compost is for the other waste, or animals like chicken, they can eat your waste, etc., etc. So all this is again to have a perfect circle of sustainability.
Circle of life.
Design from retail structure. So we do design from different zone, the nearest zone, the other zone, the faraway zone, the forest zone, etc. So we make a complete design, and we do holistic design, and then we go in detail, maybe area per area, to summarize. We want to integrate rather than separate. So we want to try always the cooperation of the things, and electroculture is helping a lot, because we can absolutely connect animals, plants. We can use fences to bring the energy far away, or we do smart way also to use multiple things together. And we can use a small and slow solution. This is it's a funny story. So we can start with the Lakowski coil. That's very simple. Around one tree, around some vegetable plants, and then we can move to bigger or more stronger solution, like the power tower or the menhir, like the antenna, the etc., to grow step by step. And when you observe, you understand, you learn, you can increase your ability also to execute. We use and value the diversity. So the diversity is very important, is our strength. More you diversify, more you reduce your risk. If you have the same plant and there are attacks from some insects or some pathogens, it will be very complicated. You need maybe some strong solution. If you have multiple type of plants with the harvest that is coming, maybe starting from May, June, and month after month, you have multiple harvest. You are more diversified as possible. You can have maybe 1 year, the fig tree it will be better than the pears. Or you have a lot of apple, but you don't have the peaches, etc. You need to diversify. It's very important. This is like in the economic. you don't have to put everything in one place, but you need always to find multiple investments.
Exactly.
Use and enhance the margin. Stop thinking you are the right track just because it's the busiest, but We always work with the margin. So electroculture is a border area, and it's now is very new. It's growing a lot, and we need to be to use it in the right mode, in the right way, because as I told you, it's not working every time. There are details that are very important. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes doesn't work.
Okay. Okay.
So,
That's because
and
I
this
think
is
that's been one of the issues that people have seen. Their criticism is like, well, it doesn't work in certain occasions, so that means it doesn't work anywhere. That's a very important point.
if you know what you do and the people are conscious, it works. So
Yeah.
our job is to educate, to do step by step, and to see the feedback, adjust, and improve the approach day after day. We are on the field 2 or 3 times per week. So like you will see, we have a lot of experience on the field. And finally, the last principle is react to change and use it in a creative way. We must learn. We only learn if we do mistakes. So it's impossible we need to do mistake. There are new scenario to explore.
Yeah.
Some are already clear, very identified. We have technology proven that is working, and we know all the detail, the tips and tricks, and we teach during the workshop online, and that way we like to share. And a lot of our customer or students, they have great results. We show you some reference very soon, and that would be nice. Andrea, do you want to add something on our principle for permaculture? Because you have a very good experience.
Mi aiuti nella traduzione?
Sì, ok. Vuoi aggiungere qualcosa sui principi di permacultura?
Non c'è bisogno di aggiungere
No
cose.
need. Ok.
Sono un faro guida che se noi li conosciamo e li teniamo nella nostra mente quando pensiamo alle cose, ci aiutano ad aprirci strade più sicure.
Okay, so principle and ethics are very useful for us to keep the projects under control, or in any case to keep
in armonia con la natura.
In harmony with the nature. That's the right word. Bravo, Andrea. Grazie.
Yeah, that's very smart.
Then there are 3 ethics. One is the healthcare of the land. That's why we start from the soil analysis. It's not the case, Lisa.
Yeah.
And also the water analysis.
Yeah.
So the objective for us combining the energy is to reduce the input, all the treatment and zero fertilization. I mean, we need to change maybe the initial status. We do a big effort at the beginning, but then no need to fertilize anymore. It's we need to create the right startup, and then the system will improve day by day. Second ethics is personal care. So we need to take care of the people, and if we have abundance in production, we can share with the other people. We can share know-how, we can share experience, and this will create more harmony, healthy food, immune defense. So we are more resilient with this superfood and diversified production as well. And finally, there is a restrict of consumption to our needs in order to share the surplus with the other people that maybe have any needs. So the attention is in the first ethic is about land, about the ecosystem. The second is the person, the people. And the third is the environment, and the possibility to share the surplus and to create the community, to create also a nice environment where people can learn by doing and have a great experience for also the personal evolution, not only for the environment, but altogether we can grow better.
Yeah, that's really, really important right now, because we've just left food production to a source that's not really close to us, and bringing it back to us, understanding the provenance of where it comes from and sharing that all is such an important part of really growing good food and that positive energy that you have with it, which is very good. I appreciate that very much. That's the ethos that I want to have in this project that we're doing. This is great.
And this is part of it's our vision. So we like to teach when we do the installation. This is a good occasion for a workshop. And it's a very good occasion maybe to come back, to have a check and to expand the installation and to have new feedback, etc.
Yeah.
And we work in that way with seminars, conference, workshop. We share ebooks, research and development, and we share always the surplus. So for us, it's very important to circulate the energy, including the economical part that is an energy, let's say.
Yeah.
And we love to work in that way.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go in deep. We can maybe discuss next time, or I can give you we can share with the audience the documents. The document was created in May 2090, so 4 years ago, more or less. Now it's the birthday of the publication.
There we go. Happy birthday.
And then we share also in other magazines, like in Geomantica. There were articles about energetic permaculture by Andrea Donnoli and Ribichini. And we share that approach with Alana, that she were very open. And she were coming from the permaculture movement in Australia, working also with Bid Mollison, but with new approach, especially sensitive permaculture. Because she's a geomancy, and she teach a lot of particular things that we found very complementary with us, because we believe integration is always important for having an holistic view.
Right.
So the story goes on, and we share ebooks. We wrote articles in Nexus, in Geomantica, in the main ecological and organic food magazine. And we implemented a lot of projects. We did documentary with the TV. So we recorded 7 documentary, including the permaculture, explaining the sacred geometry, the water, animals, electroculture, and a lot of interesting things. This is only in Italian. And I was sharing also the permaculture Bible with the TV, because as I say, I really love permaculture, like the basic for the right design.
Yeah.
And we work a lot with other partnership in geobiology, and also with the radiesthetic world. Permaculture. Anna, she's the president for the Italian Permaculture Society. Ignazio, he was involved in the translation of the Permaculture Bill Mollison book. And in the center, we have Andrea with me and another customer. Here we have Alana Moore, Tiziano, very strong partnership with them. When I started in 2015, I was learning with a lot of Kickstarter. I was supporting Kickstarter. I like a lot this approach, because when you support, you have a feedback, you have back knowledge, and I learn a lot. So one of the first that I promoted, I supported, was Chicken Permaculture by Justin Rhodes. It's a famous permaculturalist in USA. And then I was supporting a lot of his projects, like making a small farm, the Greater American Farm Tour, that is very nice. And then I supported also making small farm works by Richard Perkins. And Flow Hive is a technology for beehive, because I love bees. And I was supporting also Ignazio for the translation of the Manuale di Permacultura in Italian. That was a very big work, and we raised the fund to create this knowledge. All these projects were very useful for me to learn how to cultivate, how to make the planning, the design in the permaculture way, and also in the bio-intensive way for horticulture. So I combine this knowledge with the electroculture knowledge, and I work. I appreciate a lot also all the activity done by Curtis Stone in the market garden. So we did also the electroculture and market garden course. We have a course online. And I was involved with the main permaculturists like Geoff Lawton, Zaituna, that was the people that take place of Bill Mollison, Charles Doding, No Dig Garden, another very interesting method, Joel Salatin for the Polyphase Farm, very, very great, and Paul Wheaton, that is another permaculturist, and Justin Rhodes, Pete Canary. So a lot of permaculturist guys. And this is Ignazio when we went public with the book, for the Italian book, and is based in Puglia. So it will be our allied, let's say, a good alliance. Yeah, to work together, and it will be nice to do something absolutely together.
That's wonderful.
Then I sponsored also the permaculture book for children, because I like educate since the beginning. And I helped a lot Valentina to raise all the fund, and we overachieved the fund for this project. And 3 years ago, I wrote this book, Brevetti di Elettrocultura, Electrocultural Patents, with Valentina Ghione. And now this book is available in English, German, Japanese, and Spanish, and Italian, of course.
Right.
And it's quite a bestseller for electroculture. It's very interesting because I did all the research. I say after the Lakowski story, I started to investigate about antennas. So the father of the antenna were Justin Christoflo. Justin Christoflo lived more or less 100 years ago in France. And I found all the patents in the patents store. And then I start to study one by one and to replicate all the patents with the modern technology and making tests. When I say I did over 10,000 tests, I tested a lot of technology also from 100 years ago.
Wow.
And so we wrote this book explaining the results And the funny story is that all the patents are working. So,
This is very interesting. I think the bigger question would be, why did we go away from it? As opposed to, why is it still working?
it's fun.
But that's another video, I'm sure.
Another video. Now it's time to come back.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's a circle, the circle of life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so I open also the podcast, the free podcast. There are a lot of in Italian, some in Spanish, French, but there are even in English and German, because I did a very great job with Peter, is my partner in Switzerland, and we did all the education online in German and in English for Switzerland, Germany, Austria, and all the people that speak German and English. And so we create webinars online, basic webinars. It's 8 hours, and advanced and the practical webinars 9 hours. So we share a lot of tips and tricks, how to use it, how to make it, how to install it, and project and design. So we really had fun teaching to thousands of people online. And we create also the starter kit to educate people to make practical things. You don't want to go only theoretical. You need to make practical things, like let's try a pyramid, let's try a spiral, let's try an antenna or a Lakowski coil. And that was a great expansion in the sharing. And we did also, we did practical workshop. And this will be again 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of June in Switzerland. This is a permaculture center. Everything here is projected and designed with permaculture principle and ethics. And we are sharing all together the benefits of the electroculture, the geobiology, how you can understand the energy of the earth, the earth energy, the cosmic energy, and how you can harmonize, etc. So we will do a 3 days very intensive workshop, and this is the way I like to do projects. We do explanation, installation, practical, and we developed a project for multiple years.
Yeah, very exciting. Yeah.
So that's a very big center of education, but also real case of piloting new technology. And now I have a show of result from customers, friends, because the majority are becoming friends. They were not so good in the cultivation of horticulture, but with electroculture, everything is easy. You can really cultivate in an easy way. So they had a super production in the area, and especially they made big spinach like this, 30-centimeter leaves. Wow! Yeah, like 100 years before. We have the pictures by Christoph Loh, and we did exactly the same, even bigger, with super taste flavors. And that's we did the same with tomato, zucchini, and this is a magic orchard of Lucrezia, where exactly in these days 1 year ago the mint was 1.10 meters. And this was for super mojito in the coast of Tuscany. These plants are going in the bar of Tuscany for and after end of May 1.32 meters, and June 1.57 meters, And finally, in October, the mint was 1.75 meters.
Wow, that's amazing.
So you
That-
can
that's
imagine with
fantastic.
1 meter, you can do more things. That's why we love to have
Yeah,
increasing the production, increasing the nutrition factor. That's the most important for me,
yeah,
is to have more energy. If you take even pictures with the Kirlian camera, you see there is more light in the leaf of the plants that are grown in that way.
yeah. No,
These
that's
are
really important. That's such an
Scimmie di
important.
rapa. It's bigger in only a few weeks. These are beet like 1 meter more. So you can imagine the
Yeah,
property of this plant. It's really, when we have a chef winning also Michelin star that are using the technology to produce superfood in their recipes. It would be absolutely super tasty because the plants are so natural.
yeah.
We have a large scale installation like this is a 16 hectares farm, where the first year we increased the cereal production by 50% for flavors, for grain, and by 30% for maize. And this is a farm where they were cultivating the same place with the same grain and same seeds for 3 generations. So everybody was astonished because you can imagine we did a great work with the geotherapy, with the power tower, and energizing the seeds proper way. And that was the big results.
Yeah.
And we continue. That's another customer. It's a biodynamics farm. They do a lot of things like olive oil, wine, horticulture, small tree berries. And we installed just after 3 weeks, the beans were electrified. They were to have the same size of a spoon. We just needed 5 beans before 8. So everything is growing bigger, but even more tasty. And this is another very peculiar place where, you know, the tree are bringing the energy like an antenna. So Etruscan people were cultivating the wine around the tree. We call viti maritate. So it's a combination of tree, and the vineyard is climbing on top until 7-10 meters. And that's a very special wine.
I've never seen anything. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's a very ancient technique with big plants, but the plants are working together. And the wine is a supernatural wine that is very peculiar. And here we have multiple technology. We work also with the bees, and we cultivate, because we don't use any chemical. We cultivate the grain inside, the cereals inside. We have flowers and also nitrogen fixer plants all together.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's wonderful. Wow, this is quite the complex combination of everything. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a combo of permaculture, biodynamics, and electroculture all together. So we have this holistic view to combine. This is another case study in Tuscany, and they did the experiment starting from seeds. They obtain nice plants, and all around they had the other farms. They had very limited olive oil production. They were the best farm in the area with the top quality, and also the top quantity.
Yeah.
Why? We had an installation of several things for the electroculture. So that was a good example, and they were so enthusiastic and so happy to have made this workshop together with the installation, etc. We recently founded the Vibrational Energetic Agriculture, Academy, and now I have 12 people that are working with me, like Andrea. They are certified because we have created the full training that is touching electroculture, geobiology, free energy, and radiesthesia. And then we did very hard and intensive education using the technology, like the platform for education online and testing online. And everybody is very skilled now. So I have other people like Andrea supporting me all over Italy. And we do also project abroad, like in France, Switzerland, Austria, Germany, and now in Eastern Europe or even abroad remotely.
Fantastic.
And so today we have more or less 400 farms projects realized in the last 5 years. And there are private agritourism, resort, and farm as well, even till 100 hectares. There are very big installation. And overall together, it's 4,000 hectares with this approach that is applying for fruit trees, vineyard, horticulture, olive oil, kiwi, animals, truffles, mushroom, cereals, orange and lemon. We have a lot of application, even strange. So we have customer winning prize for oil, for wines, Michelin star, and even chef. And we do also, we taste wine tasting with the vibration, with the energy that can show you how in 30 seconds the flavor and the taste of the wine can change. We have this technique that we can do to show how the vibration can change the material things. And this is the way the energetic agriculture is working. So it's important to feel. We have free ebook, podcast, YouTube channel on the site, and online education with very high number. The Digital Academy, now it's mainly in Italian. There are more than 120 hours of tutorial and courses in any of the mainstream area. And there is a good basic and advanced course now in English and German. And so we offer some services that are quite unique and holistic, like I mentioned, because we are in the field very frequently. Every week we are in the field to do 2 or 3 projects, and we learn continuously from our installation, from customer, from mistake. And it's important to reinvest continuously. So we invest in research and development, in continuous improvement, new products, and we support organic farm. We support green projects, eco-friendly fundraising projects. So till now, we have supported about 50 projects. Some have been mentioned today. But every year I try to support 10, 20 projects because I want to share and learn more and more.
That's wonderful.
This afternoon, I received this picture and this video where there are fava beans in Calabria, so next to your region, that are over 2 meters.
That's incredible.
And they are producing from 3 to 5 more compared to the control area. So you understand why I stopped to make the comparison in my place.
Exactly. It's fantastic. No, it's just the abundance is
Yeah,
overwhelming.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
The abundance. I love it. It's great. It makes so much sense.
all right,
Wonderful.
so I finished the
Ah,
round. So if you have any question or if you want to add something, Andrea, we are open to answer.
thank you. I mean, to me, it's a wonderful overview of what you're doing and the concepts, the basic concepts of electroculture and permaculture. And the intent of this initial video is to get people introduced to your group, what you're doing, and to say that we're doing a project together here with the property, and that we'll be starting off that project and creating a series of videos with this. It'll be English. Sorry for my only English. We'll be working with this together, but the concepts of electroculture, permaculture are really critical to bring to this region. My property is something where they haven't done anything but industrial grains or for grain that is not for human consumption. And there's been no water on the land. We're just putting power, we're finishing that up. And I have a feeling there will be a really interesting project where you'll highlight how the water, the energy of the land, what's going on here in Puglia, because I'm in the Salento region of Puglia, where you have what we call the issue of Xylella there, to approach this and see what's really going on in the area. So I'm very excited for us to work together on that. And maybe we'll do the next video on outlining the project, where we are with that, and how you go through this project, and then we'll take it to the first step over there. So I think that's what we want to do. Is there anything that you'd like to add? Because I think this was a great overview for everybody.
No, really, thank you again, because sometimes we don't have time to share all the detail of what we do, because it's so big topic, and it's so big also the request on the market. But it's interesting that now finally, maybe with a real case, we can show step by step the evolution. We can share our idea. We can have also a meeting in person and maybe make some video with more details. Exactly. And creating the pilot project for sharing, for multiple meetings, for education, etc. Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity, and thanks to you.
Both. Yeah, and so I can't wait to show. So I think the first thing we'll do next time is we'll show the layout of the land and how you're looking at it, and we'll start off everybody that way. But the idea here is it's going to be a journey that we're going to share together, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I thank you both, Andrea and Andrea, for your time, and excited to go on this journey with you and explore what we'll be doing here in Salento, as this is part of the bigger ecosystem in Italy, and hopefully connecting in with the US as well. So I'm Lisa with Adventures in Agriculture, and I'm excited to bring this information to you and look forward to the next steps. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks, everyone.
Ciao, grazie.